A very good morning, everyone, all the way from Turkey. This is the Predator Turkey Open, and we've got a great matchup coming up for you, as we have from Czech Republic Roman Hebler up against Nico Springer from Germany. It's 8-ball this time, a race to 7. We will be breaking alternate break for 2 racks. In the commentary box, we have Mark White and myself, Tim de Ruiter. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Tim. Now then, this is a little bit of a strange one for me. I've not really heard of Nico Springer, to be honest. I do know Roman Hebler, Czech attack, as it says on his back there. I've actually met him a few times. Nice guy, lives in Germany, married to Yvonne Hebler. She's here as well playing. So let's see what the Czech attack has got. Pretty short sprint, Tim, race of 7. So the break, as ever, in 8-ball, crucial.
Yeah, good opening break. And indeed, a little shorter race. They've changed the format to where in the double elimination it's a race to 7. And into the single elimination, it's a race to 9. Now, if you look at this table, I don't think too much of work actually. Could go either solids or stripes. But I'm not a big fan of where the 1-ball is on the right. I don't mind playing the 14 and then the 12. Run the cue ball 2 rails in between the 15, 3, 13 area. So let's see, he's going for the 14, run 2 rails. Now there is a couple differences between these two players. Nico Springer not as much of a regular on the tour, so who knows, maybe he feels a bit more pressure being in this occasion, being in this arena. Live on Pro Billiard TV, who knows. And Roman Hebler has played the European Championships we've had the last 10-11 days before the EUROTOUR. So he's definitely more used to the equipment, more used to the setting. But fatigue could be happening for Roman. So I think this could be a pretty interesting match. We know that Nico Springer is a Bundesliga player, the highest league in Germany, so definitely capable of beating Roman by any means.
Going well so far, Tim. Just one more positional shot to play. Now he's going to have to use a rail here, Tim. So he needs to get the pace right, doesn't he? Or do you think he can just drop this in?
No, I kind of feel like he will have to go forward 2 rails. He's tried to hold it. He might still be on it. Yeah, nicely done. I thought he had too much angle, Mark.
Yeah, I did too, to be honest. Thought he may have to use a rail, but didn't. No better start, Tim, than a break and run. I'm trying to read what it says underneath. Check attack. Can you see that, Tim? My eyes aren't so great. Oh, pro team, I think it says. Team, yeah, pro team. So 2 breaks in a row. Alternate break every 2 breaks, which I really, really like. It's a good compromise. Oh, that's a good break, Tim, isn't it?
Yeah, that's 2 out of 2 for now. Now, a bit more traffic on the table. I mean, the same amount of traffic actually than last break, but the spread completely different. As you can see, a couple stripes blocked by the 7 in the top left. But, well, might have to go for the 2 ball. His only opening shot on the solids. But then yet the 4 ball is not laying so great.
There's always one, isn't there?
So he's gonna take on the challenging stripes. Could maybe play off this 13 with low right spin. Draw straight over. And well, technically you're gonna run into an area where you're guaranteed onto the 14, 10 or the 11.
Gone a little bit awkward. May have to play the 11 here. Makes the positional side a little bit more awkward. I think the 9 goes, Tim, past the 7, so that could very well be his next ball.
Yeah, if he can hold the cue ball enough, going into the short rail and out with stun left, low left, then most likely he's going to have the angle on the 9 to still drop to the left of the 14-10. And I think this format, I think it's nicer to watch, but also to play. Because as a player with the alternate break, it felt like you had constantly, within 5 minutes, you had a visit to the table. If you would have a break run each. And with this format, you actually put your opponent in the chair for, well, in this case, possibly 2 breaker runs. And we're now almost 10 minutes in, so you kind of can put your opponent 10 minutes in the chair without hitting a ball.
Yeah, good point.
Now, if you imagine, Nico might have had the first practice rack. Maybe Roman had the second, plus now 2 breaker runs. Maybe Nico did not hit a ball for 15 minutes. And he's already found himself 2-0 down. So I'm looking forward to see if he's still ready or sharp enough. Still sharp to get going in this match. 2-0.
Yeah, and that lag is a little bit more important than you might first think. Simply because you get the first 4 breaks out of the first 6 racks. So it can be huge, Tim. We've seen it affect a lot of matches, haven't we, over the time. Table is tapped, so there's no rack, no template, just little indentations that the balls slip into. So let's see where he's breaking from. Pretty much the same, going to hit them head on, looking to make one or both of the 2 balls, I think it's the 3 and the 4, behind the 9, into the sides. Well, he made the 3. A little bit awkward though, Tim, whichever you choose.
Well, also one thing I'm not a big fan of is the cue ball staying on the short rail. Kind of limits his options. We'll have to play a difficult stripe with the 14 ball. Or he's indeed forced to go into the 13. So cut the 4 in, run into the 13. Maybe give the 7 a nudge. It's a tricky one, the cluster with the 7 mark, because there's 2 balls next to the 7. But if you play the cannon at some point, the only shot you can really be on is that same 7 ball. You're not guaranteed any other shape.
Yeah, good angle here to go into it. Might be lucky and leave himself short side on the 1 to the top right if he gets a fullish contact on the 7. Quite a bit of left-hand spin on that as well, Tim, which widened the angle off the rail. It's left him on, well, the 6. But I don't fancy the next shot very much. 1 ball doesn't go past the 11. I think the 7 does go, but it's difficult to get on. Yeah, he was trying to force an angle, Tim, which just wasn't there. So it's Roman back to the table.
Yeah, and these are, in general, the best options or the best visits to the table you can get. You've got 7 balls in the open. Your opponent doesn't really have too much traffic on the table, so if he gets onto the 12, he should be able to steal a rack. One of the 2 from Nico. Now, would like to... Oh, well, he gave everything a big nudge there. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. He's okay. He might be able to give the 7 a little nudge, push the 12 up, and always have the 10 ball as a backup now. I don't think he can draw back without running into the 7.
Yeah, Roman actually has a young son who's very good as well at pool. I believe his name is Alessio. Saw him play a few times during COVID. He was about 14 then. I guess he must be 18 now, something like that. 18, 19.
Well, that's a bit of a surprise right there. A bit more challenging on that 9, but certainly was expecting him to make that. So Nico back at it and chance to redeem himself. Well, he has landed with the wrong angle on the 6 ball. The 8 might not go by the 14, so that means he has to run the cue ball 3 rails forward. Or can he still draw back enough? No, 3 rails forward it is. And he's gonna get close to the rail. And suddenly, to get that first rack on the board, this 8 is much more of a tester.
Didn't threaten the pocket, Tim. Quite a long way off. Oh, he's covered the pocket.
Yeah, well, this is where I kind of like 8 ball. This is where we can see some creativity. But gotta say, this looks pretty much on the kiss. So I'd rather stun the cue ball than play the cue ball forward. Well, he did beat the kiss. Does the 8 go? No. Another chance for Roman.
Yeah, but only really has the bank on the 14, doesn't he? Unless he wants to play safety.
Well, you can definitely take the 14 as a 2-way. Play shape for the 9 ball in the bottom right. And if you miss it, the cue ball stays second diamond on the bottom long rail in this view. So near the bottom left corner. He's went completely aggressive on it and hit it full. He was trying to hold it. And most of the time when players try to hold the cue ball, they're gonna miss the ball on the thick side. So now Nico, let's go. Needs to get the first rack on the board.
Yeah, that will make him feel a whole lot better. Walter Lycra is over on table number 1, guys. If you'd like to watch that, it's on Pro Billiard TV. We have 3 tables. Max Benko is over on table 3, but he's 2-0 down to Norbert Zalesko. Full day of pool again for you today from the Predator Euro Tour here in Turkey. Now the second of his 2 breaks.
Well, it does make one on his... Well, he did make one actually on the first break too. So both have been breaking successfully. But he did get a very awkward run-out opportunity last time. I think this time things slightly better. I think you could either take the 5 or the 12. I don't really see any risks in the solids. Needs to take the 3 ball out soon though. Not a ball you would want to have till the end.
Gone a little bit too far, I think, for the 3 ball. 4 as an alternative.
Yeah, 3-7-6-1-8, probably the pattern. Bit more traveling, possibly from the 1 to the 8, but should be fine.
He kind of wants to leave himself a half ball angle, doesn't he, Tim, on the 1 ball, so he can play the 1 and the 8 into the bottom right hand corner. .35 seconds on the shot clock. He just has to make sure, Tim, doesn't he, that he comes far enough, doesn't want to finish short. Somewhere near the side pocket. Off the rail, of course. Good stuff. Break and run of his own coming up with this 8 ball.
Yeah, and with that one mistake from Roman, now the score tied at 2. Does have his next 2 breaks coming up. But at least he's gonna feel like someone is just right behind him.
Left an easy 8 ball for Nico. Be looking to replicate his opening break. And indeed a run out to get back this lead. 2-2, race to 7.
Well, so far, so good on the break, Mark. I have to say, I've seen way worse things on 8-ball matches than the way they've been breaking. Such a huge factor in playing 8-ball.
Yeah, I've seen Roman play a lot of 10-ball as well. He has a pretty good 10-ball break also. Hits them pretty square, pretty hard. Spoilt for choice, Tim.
Yeah, if you look at the solids, the 2-ball up table needs a bit of work, so I really like to, if he has a little bit of angle on the 7, I kind of like to stun up to the 2 and go from the 2 to the 6-ball. But he seems to go stripes, so he's gonna pick up this 11 and then go up table. The only thing I can see for stripes is the 13-14. I don't think it does go to the top left without taking the 9 away early.
Yeah, could play the nudge here. Into the 14. Well, didn't need to. He's got on that troublesome 9, Tim, and then that will open up the other 2 stripes to the corner.
Well, this is the shot where he has to be careful. I'll have to bring the cue ball in between the 2 and the 13 to the opposite side of the 2 balls. And it's a bit pacey. This is no good. I think he's gonna run into the 13 if he plays the 14, so well, he's still gonna try and beat the scratch. Low left spin, low right spin. What's he playing? Well, he was asking a lot from himself. And he's lost the cue ball a couple times. Second mistake now, and now on his own break. Big chance for Nico.
I saw a post on Facebook from Roman's wife, Yvonne, and she's just had a Predator Arc installed at her workplace in her office. So they've had plenty of practice, Tim, on the Arc pockets. Also saw Pia Phillip and Joshua had just had one installed in their new house that they're building as well. The first room Pia wanted finished was the pool room. Hard to find a wife like that, Tim, I tell you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can understand if your wife is a pool player too, then it works both ways. But indeed, it's not easy to find that kind of lady. Now, I have to say, Roman is pretty lucky to still be able to win this rack mark. Wasn't expecting him to still do so after missing that 14 ball.
Yeah, we'll have the break as well. The second of his two in this rotation. Not before he has a sip of water though. How many hours a day, Tim, would you practice leading up to a Euro Tour, for example? How many hours a day would you put in?
It depends a little bit. I think just practicing by yourself is not enough, so you need some sparring too. Look for good players or find some local tournaments. So let's say I like to start 2-3 weeks before, play 3-4 days, 2 hours a day, play 1 or 2 tournaments a week. I think something like that. So you have the mix of every time you play someone, you make a mistake, you go back to the table, you fix it. And you just go back and forth doing that. So you become better in a very short period of time. And then the other hour or 2 hours you put in daily, you could actually use on, for example, the break or kicking, you know, something that you just need to get the feel for.
Well, this is not a nice layout at all. Trouble for both sets.
Oh, not at all. I kind of feel like you're forced into taking the solids. I don't think he has any easy stripes besides the 11. But then again, you would want the 11 to open up the 9 and the 13. Now, could actually go topspin off this 4 and run into the 6-12 with the 5 as a backup. And that 7 ball is a big worry. Maybe does go to the bottom left. The 8 ball is not too great either. So if I look at this rack mark, I would almost say I'd rather play a safety, put a ball over the corner and wait, than to try and go aggressive. I would say this is quite low percentage to run out.
Though he's considering going high right then. There's hardly any angle on this though. He is. Yeah, I didn't think he had the angle to do that, Tim. Oh, good shot. Now, can he get onto the 7, Tim, to the top left?
I kind of feel like he'll have to take a risk right now. I mean, the 7 does go like it. It does look like it does go to the top left. The problem is, well, he's played it well, but the second he struck this, he felt like the pace was scary and.
Oh, need a ref for this one.
He's gonna push the 15 over to the corner. Cue ball runs into the 14. If he had played stun. Yeah, I was gonna say this is nasty, Mark. I mean, so many things that could have gone wrong. He might have had to
a bank shot.
Hit him real hard.
Yeah, just take a chance, Tim, hey. I think he's trying to play the bank shot here. It's pretty good, Tim. It's pretty good. What a shot. Well, we'll be having some banks. 16-player invitational tournament in St. Louis from the 1st to the 8th of April, not long after this finishes. Just a couple of weeks afterwards. Some mixed doubles action. The Women's Open and the Men's World 8 Ball, Tim, as well. So good tournament for everyone in St. Louis. And that will be a stacked field for sure.
Oh, absolute perfect break there. Great cue ball control, making 2 balls. This is how you should be breaking 8 ball in general. Well, now as you can see, I get a lot of questions in general from people, Mark, asking me like, yeah, but how do I determine whether the solids or the stripes are laying better? Well, in this case, the first thing you do is you look at the 8. Well, the 8 is wide in the open, so you could go either way. But then I look at the bottom and I see the 5 ball does not go by the 2. So then you imagine, how do I get on the 5 ball? Well, the only way is to get in a, well, pretty miracle way onto the 2 ball. And then you have to land perfect to get to the left side of the 5. And if that sounds too difficult, that's where you know you have to go stripes.
Perhaps you should do one of your Tim Talks videos on Facebook, Tim, about 8 ball, and just have a setup and just, you know, walk us through a rack, talk us through a rack. That would be interesting to know what's going on in your mind when you're running through a rack of 8 ball. I think people in general like those kind of videos. I'd certainly be interested in seeing it.
Yeah, definitely one of the things I have planned. Soon I will be able to get back to the pool room, which I'm very excited for. We've got a little bit of a break on our hands starting Monday, Mark.
Yeah, I must say, Tim, I really, really love my job. I really do. You know how much I love it, but we all need to take a bit of time off occasionally, even from something we love. Nico seems to have sped up just a little bit here. Certainly when he's on the shot anyway.
Yeah, gotta be careful not to land straight on the 14. Or straight-ish. I think it's just enough, but he will have to thump the 14 in quite a bit. Needs to stun off the rail at least a diamond. Yeah, nicely done. And it's an important rack actually, because he's down 4-2. He does have the 2 breaks now. But any mistake he makes on his break, Roman gets on 5 and could close it out just by himself with 2 breaks. Oh, there's a bit more pressure on this. Maybe the 6 ball blocking it just slightly.
Dealt with it pretty well. And with one more break to come, he could very well be level Tim on 4-4. But of course, if he does lose even this next one, Roman will still have a chance to close it out. 7 the target.
Yeah, absolutely hammering the break right now, Mark. Both have. But yet the layout seems to get slightly more difficult the longer we play. Good news is with the stripes now this time, he could take the 12 right off the bat. Or play 15, 12, 11. Use the 14 to get to the bottom of the table to go to the 10 and the 9. For example, if the 10 goes by the 9, then I like to play 12, 15 or 15, 12. This is a great chance to get this 4 each. And I think if Nico just stays close to Roman, he's gonna put that little bit more pressure on the check to make sure to get another chance, maybe to make a difference in this match.
A straightforward draw for the 12 into the same pocket. I mentioned Walter Likrat. He's over on table 1 at the moment, and he's up against the European champion of 8-ball, Juan Carlos Exposito from Spain. And the score there, 5-4 to the Swede. There you see Exposito just winning another rack to make it 5-4. Slightly wrong on this one, Tim.
Yeah, he is slightly off angle. He's looking at taking the 9, and if he can run one rail into the 4 ball from that 9 ball, I wouldn't mind it, because if you run that direction, you've got the 14, the 13, or the 10 to land on. He's gonna take the 13 first. And I have to say, I'm not a big fan of this. And the reason is that 14 was probably, out of the 4 balls he had on the table, the most difficult ball to land on. So it's one I would like to target as soon as possible.
he can draw for it here. Just draw up to the centre of the table, but I don't think he is. I think he's playing for the 9. Oh, maybe he is. Oh, he's overhit this slightly.
Yeah, doesn't have a bigger pocket with the 1. He'll have to do it by his own accuracy. This is to make 4 each though. Roman will have 2 breaks to come.
Yeah, this 1 ball can kind of... Well, it didn't. I was going to say it can put you off slightly. But no problem. Good stuff. We are level, Tim, once again at 4-4. As you say, Roman to break.
Splash of water. We have arrived to crunch time. This is where the heat will be the most. It's only a race to 3. We're breaking per 2 racks, so yeah, either way, if Nico can win one of the 2 on Roman's break, then he has enough on his own break following to close it out. But the same thing goes for Roman. Win 2 of your own and steal 1 on your opponent. Or will we have the classic hill? This one could be dry, but that 10 ball just reaches. Oh, first glance. Problem with the 1 or the 12. Either way. Now, I do like the solids just because you have the 5, 4 and the 7 near that 112. And, well, the 8 is also near, so probably I'm gonna try and find 2, 3. And then run from the 6 to the 7, possibly. Yeah, just gotta make sure to give himself something to work with, to land in between. Oh, he's chosen to go directly there, which I don't think he's done very well. I don't think this 5 ball is okay enough to flick an edge of the 1. If he can, he certainly has to play it. He's guaranteed to be on the 7 into the center. Yeah, he's trying to get a feel for it, but just doesn't want to lose the cue. Well, can still play the 5 and leave himself an angle onto the 7 or the 4. Not a fan of this 6-ball mark. This is now queuing over the 5. Has to play with top spin, maybe even a trace of right spin, so it's gonna arc on him.
Yeah, just between everything, isn't he? Can he just flick that 12 away, Tim, from the 1? No, but he can go into it. Good shot. Well, he's taken these very well, Tim. There's a few little problems he's had to solve along the way. Just slightly awkward to get on the brown 7 straight enough. He's okay, can just play a soft little draw. And he'll lead 5-4.
Yeah, and does have another break, a following mark, and this is the one that can put him on the hill. And that is also going to transfer a lot of pressure onto Nico, knowing that he will have to break and run perfectly in his 2 breaks.
Here we go then. Needs a really good break. He'd love a break and run to arrive at the hill. Not even let his opponent back to the table. Keep him cold in the chair. Nico will have the next 2 breaks. Ball straight in the side, Tim. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Would you be worried, Tim, by the 9 and 14? Or is that a makeable combo? Or you can indeed get on the 14? What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I'm not too worried about the 9-14. It's a bit, the 15 needs some opening up. That's why he is choosing to go solid. Because the 15 needs either the 8 to be moved or the 10 to be moved. And then the 13 is a bit scrappy, so This way the 8 is always open and available. He was trying to get straight on the 3 ball to get onto the 6 to the bottom left. But he could still play that near the end though. That's not the worst. Could play 5-2, 7-1. Run from the 1 ball towards the 3. 2 rails, maybe even in between the 3 and the 6. The 11-3-6 area.
I've been quite impressed overall, Tim, with Roman's form in this match. He's played pretty well. Just the one glaring mistake on that bank on the 14, but he's done little else wrong. Broken pretty good as well. Maybe would have liked to have gone slightly further on this 1 ball. Can he hold for the 7?
Well, I think he's still slightly worried of not getting onto the 3 ball. Ooh. Yeah, and he does have the wrong angle now on the 7. So a lot more movement with the cue ball will be needed to land in between the 11 and the 3. It doesn't have to land exactly there. It does have like a ball shorter, a ball further is okay. So he does have, let's say, 3-4 balls of area to land on, but this is going to be too much. Or is it? Is he gonna? Well, he is gonna still kill this low into the cue ball. It's more of a pinchy stroke to kill the pace real quick. You can see it on the cue ball too, how it lost his speed. He actually put a more firmer stroke on that and used a lot of the rail. One good positional shot, find the window, and he's on the hill, Roman Hebler.
Roman Hilber. Yeah, very good stuff from Roman. And now there is, as you suggested, big pressure now on Nico. Oh, the gloves off, Tim. The gloves off. It's going to make him sweat.
Yeah, definitely is gonna put Nico in his chair, knowing that he's gonna be waiting, probably get out a stroke. So as Roman is probably gonna get something to drink, splash some water into his face, I guess Mark White and myself, Tim de Ruiter, we're gonna do exactly the same. It's morning for us as well. And we'll be right back with the remainder of this winners round 2 match. And as you can see, Roman is back at the table, and so are Mark White and myself, Tim de Ruiter. We are back in the box as well. And what a chance we have here. This could definitely be a hill match in the making. Now, I kind of like the stripes, just because the 2 and the 7 are laying a bit ugly. But we'll have to take the 13 first. Probably draw back for the 10 in the right center. And then drop to the bottom. 12, 15, 9, 11, 8. Or 12, 15, 11, 9, 8. There's so many ways you can play near the bottom.
Also knows that he can't make a mistake. Otherwise it could be all over. The loser of this match still will have a chance though on the one lost side. This is a winners round 2 match.
Yeah, it's just about the pace to get onto the 9. Little bit more angle on this though. As you can see, was trying to get straight for the 8 in the bottom right. So might not leave himself as straight on the 8 as he wanted to. So that's 1 out of 2 mark. 6-5. Is he gonna make another one? That's the big question.
Well, we also have a heel match over on table 1 as well. Juan Carlos Exposito is 6-6 with Walter Laikret, the young Swede. Max Benko in a little bit of trouble as well over on table 3. That's also available on Billiard TV. The young Slovenian 5-2 down to Norbert Zalesko. Breaking then to go heel. Oh, what a break. Hit them square, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, I think we are very fortunate with how both guys have been breaking. I mean, if we would look back at this match, I would definitely say we've had 6 breaker runs.
You mentioned yesterday that this table's been breaking very well, and it seems to be continuing, doesn't it? This isn't such a nice layout now, though. There's work to be done.
Yeah, then again, he's a bit short on options. Usually the more difficult racks, when you from the beginning are forced into taking one of the two, but he's played the actual perfect bump because the 4-ball was a cluster with the 14. I think he can play 3, leave himself next to the side pocket, use the 4 to stun over, and that's where he's gonna drop in between the area with the 3. With the 7, the 2, the 1.
Roman can
Even
just sit back, relax, knowing, Tim, that he'll have the next break if it does go heel.
Yeah, the only thing that Roman should be focusing on. Now, Nico can draw this cue ball into the 14. No, he was even able to stun off the rail enough. I think it never could have went wrong if he drew into the 14. Now, what's reasonable still yet the 5-ball, easy to fall the wrong angle on. Oh, Mark. He tried to do way too much there on the 7-ball.
Yeah, still pressure on this clearance though for Roman. And now it's Nico having to sit in his chair and wonder, will he even get back to the table, or is his match over? Yeah, that's okay.
Well, I gotta say, he doesn't have the full pocket though, so needs perfect execution on this 15 to slide by the 7. You would say this is the only thing that can go wrong. He can go forward or even stop the cue ball, take the 11 after, and go to the 14, 13, 8. Whatever you gotta do to make this 15. Wow, he's still passed it by, but he's put himself straight onto this 11. Oh, and he punched an angle out of that. Yeah, this is perfect. The odds are very low to get back to the table unless that 7-ball maybe comes off the short rail in between the cue ball and the 13, but quite sure Roman is gonna make sure. Oh! Wow, he's missed that by a mile, Mark. That was... I mean, I think he might have taken it a slight bit for granted. Now, Nico does have a problem with the 7 and the 14. But should be happy to get back to the table. Ecstatic.
Yeah, I must say I didn't expect Roman to miss that 14, especially by the amount that he missed it by. Incredible. I think, as you say, just took it a little bit too easy. Thought it was unmissable. We're reminded so often there's no such thing as an unmissable ball. Playing the 13 into the corner. Oh, good solid hit, Tim. Still not over though. Defensive again from the German.
Yeah, needs to find a way to get the hook on the 13 and develop something near the 7, and he is now, well, he's left something on the 13, or he might even be trying to make this 14. I was gonna say maybe he could play thin off the 14 and stick the cue ball with it again. He's actually going for it. Well, he's got it.
Good shot. Yeah, poor safety shot there from Nico. Should never have left that 14 ball. Was so intent on covering. Oh, look at this. I thought he'd gone too wide on that. He certainly lost the cue ball slightly. Nothing surprises me anymore, Tim, in pool. There's no way this black is in until it's in.
Come on, baby.
Yeah, and down goes the 8, so it is Roman Hebler advancing through the winner's bracket. Unfortunately for Nico Springer, he will have to win a couple more over the one lost side to be able to play himself back into the single elimination. Thanks, Mark White. Thank you for being by my side. My name is Tim de Ruiter, and we would love to see you back at 3:30 local Turkey time for more action at the Predator Turkey Open. We'll see you soon.